everybody. Welcome to Creative Conversations with David and Donna. I'm David.
I'm Donna.
And I'm Seth.
A little bit late.
Good cue there. Good job.
Good cue.
So our guest today is a former student who graduated last year, and he's just coming back to us from basic training. I'm sure he'll have a few stories. But I have a great story about Seth. Seth and David did not know each other until we did our first play, and they both got cast as the same role. So I'm
Yeah.
sure they have some stories to tell about that one.
I totally forget that was a thing.
Well, that's really how y'all got to know each other, from what I understand.
We met, but we didn't even really become friends until the second play we did.
Mm-hmm.
And then we didn't become actual, friends until that summer when I made Homeroom. Because that's the only time, that's the first time I probably talked to him about something other than playwriting. So, yeah, but, right, we didn't know each other until we got cast. And I still forget, we were both cast as Hansel.
Well, y'all go ahead and talk about that. Apparently, that's where you want to head off.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
We both got cast as Hansel in
I think we need to hear both Hansel
in a
voices.
play.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'll go first. We both got cast as Hansel in the Grimm Brothers Spectacular-thon. And I remember the first time I met you was I got long socks.
Yep.
I bought for my lederhosen, and I had the Walmart. The Walmart only had a 12-pack of socks, so I had to buy 12 pairs of long socks. And so I was like, "Hey, you!" I went to rehearsal, and he was wearing my lederhosen. I was like, "Oh, that must be the other Hansel. Would you like some sock?" So he got the sock, and that's the first time I met him. And we worked together on High School and At the Day of the Test, and that's where we actually became friends because we were in different theater classes. Yes.
Yes. Let's hear your Hansel.
What's up, guys? Bowden here. Playing Hansel, it was very fun. I first remember when I heard David, I was like, wow, that guy's pretty good. And they're like, I think he's the best Hansel. I was like, and this guy has all these other roles, and I just have this one. So I was like,
give up.
I gotta do my job really good.
Yeah, you did great.
So and then I actually went to go see David to see what I was working with because he was the Friday night and I was the Saturday night.
So you went to the Friday night performance, right?
I did.
Good, 'cause my Sunday was horrible, so I'm happy you saw Friday.
I did, and it was funny because right after I watched your scene, it was the craziest thing. This was before I even knew Ms. Vanos that well. I got these hives everywhere in my body. You remember that?
Nervous?
I was like, oh boy. I was like, this isn't normal. And I was like, hey, should I leave? And then she's like, yes, go now. I don't know what they were from. But yeah, and then, so then David and I became friends, I guess, over the summer, because he was recruiting people to do this little TV show that I think was... I really want a second episode, but I guess Taylor's
in Mississippi, and it just never worked out. But it was fun to do. I kind of just wanted to do it, so I did it. We talked about it a little bit. Homeroom, this just little short film. It was supposed to be like a show, but it ended up being just a short film because it was one episode. But I'm still pretty impressed. We made a 30-minute long piece of content, which is pretty cool to me. 30 minutes long of content. So I made all these characters, and there was this nerd character, and I really didn't know who to cast for it, and some people who had already cast said, well, what about Seth? You should see if he can do it, and he was perfect. I remember after we recorded his scene, we all died hysterically laughing. That's still probably one of the best scenes. The scene between you and Alice, whenever this goth girl, and you're trying to talk to the goth girl. And
so fun.
Do you remember any of the lines?
I don't remember. I wrote them. I don't remember anything.
I don't.
You don't? Because I don't even remember the scene. But
I don't remember anything about that. That was a very fuzzy time of what is happening in my life. I guess I'm making a short film now. Holy crap! I made a short film.
And we were writing the play.
And we were writing
started,
a play. We started writing Dinky Springs.
Right.
Lots going on, and now here we are, all sitting at Donna's house. No, it's strange to me that I think about. I had a class with Donna when I was a junior. And never could I imagine that I'd be at her house calling her Donna.
And my business partner.
Yes. That's a big one, but it's just Just the small things. So, like, one time I was eating dinner with you and your family, and your daughter's boyfriend, who was also a friend of mine, who, like, I barely knew, but, like, now I'm friends with. And it's like, I'm sitting around like, this is who we're eating dinner with. Like, that's so strange that I'm at a table with my teacher and her husband and her daughter, and then this other kid from our school named Jason, like, who's in a play, and then I was like, what is happening? Life is weird.
Life is weird.
Life is very creative.
Yes, it is.
And we have conversations about it.
Hey, that's like it's like the name of the show, huh?
Yeah, that's our logo up there.
Yeah.
We have
that
our
is our
poster.
logo, created by Elise, by the way, if you didn't know that.
Oh, really?
She made that for us.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you know she actually designed the Patriotic Pelican?
Yes, I do know that. You told me.
Wow, thank God for Elise.
I'm telling you, the talent just runs deep.
So speaking of the Patriotic Pelican, let's talk a little about that. And why I always like to say at the beginning of the show, it's like, well, why are you here? You know, we love our friends, we love our pals, but we're not just picking people off the street. There's a reason that we wanted you to be on the show. So, and the biggest one is probably the Patriotic Pelican. So let's just get the origin story of that. We talked about it a little bit. Let's just start from the beginning, from the man himself. What is the Patriotic Pelican?
Who is the Patriotic Pelican? Well, if you're talking about the actual character himself.
Yes.
Okay, so I had a lot of time to think about who the Pelican was, right? Because he was always just this kind of faceless character in my mind. Back even when we wrote the play and put him on stage, I never wanted to give him a backstory or anything like that because I wanted something that felt right, and it never just came to me. And when as far as creativity goes, when it comes to you, you know.
That's right.
So I was like, yeah, maybe he's this really cool ex-military dude that has all this training. I was like, nah, Patriotic Pelican's not this absolute soldier.
Oh.
That's not his personality. He's kind of more of he's not a goofball, but he's not like
he's a bit of a Superman,
right?
Kind of
right.
like Boy Scout.
So what I did was in the Pelican universe, I decided, all right, maybe he does have a little military, but I'm not going to give him a military career. So I said he went to college. He was going to do kind of what I was doing. But he went to officer school, and then during the course of him trying to do all this, he gets cancer, right? Cancer.
I don't know this.
Right, because this is new.
Is this what you came up while you were at basic?
Exactly.
Okay.
Oh,
So,
while you were at basic training, you came up with all this origin story of this character. Okay.
He gets cancer, right? And then, of course, if you get cancer in the military, you get discharged. So he comes back to New Orleans, Louisiana, and he's told that he can't be a soldier, you know. And to someone who wants to do this is very, very upsetting. So the idea is he starts his crime-fighting whole situation because it's his way of trying to save the world because he can't do it with the military.
He can't defend freedom in the military, so he'll defend it on the streets.
And he learns, to give you a little bit so we see characters like Captain Constitution appear very early on, but not as a superhero, right? His name's Kirkland. He's a detective.
Oh, Kirkland.
Right.
I like Italian.
So, and then,
a friend of ours.
Yes.
Right. So, and then he meets this reporter girl who actually becomes his fiance, right? And then she's actually the one that persuades him to become the superhero Patriotic Pelican, right? Because he was just, fighting crime in a hoodie, and she's like, the city needs a symbol. And then one thing led to another.
So is this Detective Sandra that we had in the play?
No, the Detective Sandra comes in much later. I have it very, very structured, right? So Detective Sandra, Kirkland was a detective, right? Before he became Captain Constitution. And Detective Sandra was his partner. Okay. So she becomes the lead detective once Kirkland leaves to become Captain Constitution.
Does she know he's Captain Constitution?
No.
Oh.
But she ends up, that's something everybody figures out eventually.
Well, in our play, there was kind of that romance thing between Detective Sandra and the Pelican. So
right.
That's not how it is in your universe?
Well, it'll get there
eventually.
Because, let's just say...
something bad happens to his girlfriend.
Right.
That's
what
was...
die?
I was wondering.
Or she dump him?
No.
She's going to die. So the way I originally had it was she died before the comic started, kind of, and that's what sparked it. But I figured it'd be better if I gave really made the origin story, you know? Like,
right. And that reminds me, to give some context, this is a comic book character that he invented,
right,
named the Patriotic Pelican, wrote a play about him. He was in high school and then in a test, the character. And then Seth went and wrote, and with the help of Donna, wrote an entire play at the time called A Pelican Story, but it's now being published as The Patriotic Pelican. And and this is his whole universe that he's created for this character. Just this whole little world in his mind that he wants to put on paper. And I'm sure more than just the play. He wants to expand.
Well,
right.
That's what you want to do is create comic books.
Exactly. And actually, so I was talking to my friend Brady Birkenpaz, and he actually helped me a lot with the brainstorming process because he's just really this creative guy. And he said, you know what? He's like, the Patriotic Pelicans are a really cool idea, man. I'm loving the storyline that you have here. It's great. He's like, but he's like, if you want this to be big, if you want it to be exciting, you want it to be interesting, he's like, why not add more heroes? And I was like, that's interesting.
Like a universe.
Expand. He's like, you know, you have it set in Louisiana. Everything's happening here, but it could be so much bigger. He's like, so I was like, yeah. And he's like, and don't get mad at me. I was like, but they shouldn't all be patriotic themed. He's like, right. I was like, all right, I'm tracking. I got you. So I start coming up with all these other ideas, and they're not necessarily all superheroes, right? But they're all going to converge together. I'm not going to tell you exactly what happens because
it's like all from different states.
Oh, and so in Pelican Endgame.
Right. There's like, I have like this whole arc set up with all these different comics, right?
But are they all from different states?
Right. Okay. Well, different parts of the country. So.
Okay.
So there's going to be four different comics, and then they're all going to converge into like this one thing. So you got the Patriotic Pelican Chronicles, which is going to have all the wonderfulness of that. Mm-hmm. So then you're going to have a comic I came up with called Sunny Days, right? So picture this, right? L.A. There is this guy who's he's like kind of a certified... I'm trying not to curse here. What's it?
A certified badass.
Yes,
that's right.
Yeah, we will say badass on the
air. Right. So,
is he what am I trying to say? A registered lethal weapon? Is
right, exactly. But he does not care about life at all. He just kind of goes with the flow kind of guy. You know, like kind of one of those characters that like, if you ever seen like One Punch Man or something like that, like that. That kind of idea, right?
That's the theme song, by the way.
Okay.
I figured you wouldn't know.
I did not.
So. Then the second idea, or third comic book, is this idea that you're like, you know what? Because Dean, I was talking to Dean way before
our guest last week.
Yeah, who is also a phenomenal artist. And I didn't listen to our podcast. You put it up, huh?
It's uploaded.
Okay, cool.
Way before I went to basic training, he's like, dude, I'm seeing something with the Pelican in space. And he'd always say that. He's like, space. And I'm like, I don't see where space fits in at all. And then
the Pelicans of the galaxy.
It hit me. I was like, all right, I am going to put the Pelican in space, but it's going to be much later. So there's going to be this comic called Odyssey, right? And basically there's this corporation that spans throughout all the different comics that's called Netco, right? Netco stands for New World Evasive Technology Corporation, right? And they design all this crazy technology nonsense because it's not really a superpower-based comic. It's more like realistic, but like you gotta throw some wacky stuff in there to make it fun. Mm-hmm. So they're gonna go on this little space adventure, but I'm not gonna make it crazy like like they go find Thor and all that. Right. It's gonna be within like the solar system. I'm like planning like this is like the whole comic arc idea is going to take place probably like 30 years in the future or something like that.
All right.
So that's one idea. I'm not going to like delve into it too much. And then the fourth idea is going to take place in the past, like in the 80s.
Oh,
it's gonna be this group called Neon Havoc, right? That Brady helped me develop, right? So it's going to be this group of teenagers, right? And that's when Netco was first like coming up, and they're going to be like solving this big mystery. And then they're eventually going to get sent into the future, which is going to be when all the comics converge.
So are they the founders of Netco?
No. So, all right, talking a little bit about Netco. In the world of the Patriotic Pelican, it was founded back in the 40s during World War II as this privatized place that was designed to help the military design technology. So it eventually it developed and it became its own thing, kind of separated from the military, and just it is the shining star of the world, leading in technology. Right, it's got jobs everywhere. They're always doing experiments. And if you work at Netco, you're set. Right, like but
it's like Apple.
I was about to say that was my exact thought.
Exactly. Yeah. But there's something shady going on with Netco, right? And that's the thing. That's the thing that you start to figure out gradually. See, actually, the Patriotic Pelican, once he gets back, Kirkland gets him a job at Netco, and he works in designing things, and he starts to uncover this mystery for himself. And you see, that's how all the comics combine.
Let me ask.
Yes.
Was the Pelican alive in the 80s? When was he born?
No, the Pelican is going to be like in his 20s when it starts, and it's probably going to be over the span of 15 years.
So his birth date is about your birth date.
Right.
In there. Okay. And so is there any tie-in to his ancestry with the Neon group?
So Neon Havoc, yeah, there is going to be a little bit of a tie-in.
Okay.
So he's going to have this villain who's really kind of older, and he's going to know the group because he was alive back then. So this villain's actually, he's kind of cool. He's kind of like his name's going to be Clementine, right? So imagine, I know, it's crazy. This kind of cowboy archetype, right? Kind of like privatized military look. He's got like the goatee, salt and pepper hair, trench coat, because I love my trench coats.
Oh, yeah.
He's got the vest, weapons, and stuff like that. And he's going to be the Pelican's first real villain, right? And he knows all the answers to everything. But we're not going to know that until much later, of course.
Yeah, you haven't mentioned the villains, so that's just one. There must be more than one.
So,
Damien Dante,
right? I'm not even going to... He's going to have a code name for a long time. It's going to be the Crimson Tiger.
Ah.
And we're not...
Rawr.
Right. I don't want to spoil too much, but he's definitely going to be involved with Netco because you do know that Damien Dante,
rich guy,
is a very rich guy,
very rich man.
So
this is all. By the way, this is really interesting. I'm sure if everybody who's seen or read the play or was involved or know anything about the Patriotic Pelican, but to give some context, this is just a comic book universe you're creating. It's the same way that we interviewed Swearingen about the book that's coming out. This is something you're working on. This little comic book, not little, I don't mean to sound mean, this comic book universe with all these characters and these stories that you have going on. It's all came from your mind, and you're going to do it.
Absolutely.
And it's coming, and you can read all of these things one day.
All right, I don't know much about comic books, so episodes and is there more than one episode in one comic book, or how does that work?
In an issue? So,
in an issue, yeah.
I guess it sort of would be like, you could imagine the issues as like chapters of a story, and then at the end of the story, it's almost like, imagine a book releasing every month a new chapter.
Okay.
Right.
And at the end of, if the book is 12 chapters long, at the end of 12 months, they collect all of it and put it in what is called a trade, which in this case it would be a book, and then you sell the trade.
So you now have 4 distinct stories that are
right. So
how is it going to break down into issues? And
so
you have 4 separate.
That's what I'm saying.
4 separate comic books.
How many issues each?
That's something I don't know yet because I haven't. I have it all kind of outlined.
Where are you at? Is it on your phone? You didn't have your phone.
No, I did not. So it's all in a notebook.
Okay, so you need to start transferring.
You need a whiteboard,
right?
Just full of stuff.
Well, and it needs to be saved somewhere as well.
Right.
I feel like.
Pictures and
strings. See, the funny thing is, when I got home, my laptop stopped working.
Lovely. The one you got at Project Graduation?
No, I actually haven't opened that one yet. So
you have one?
There you go. I have an extra one.
Open the new one. There you go.
But
boom.
The thing is, I couldn't really write dialogue or anything like that while I was there because that was too much.
Storyline. You just needed the story.
But I got a rough idea for the story, and now it's time to start dialoguing. And then they were like, "Oh man, I want to see all these characters. I want to see the way they." And of course, I can draw all right, but I'm no illustrator.
You're no Dean Diaz.
I'm no Dean Diaz. My plan is if he is so willing for him to be my illustrator. Now, it's going to take a lot of time and coordination, but I'm confident that in these years of college that I can possibly get the first
Okay,
book
so here's a
released.
tip for that. David and I are running into this issue. Time is a real factor in getting anything done because there's just stuff that happens that comes up, and I'll give you an example. I'm kind of going off topic a bit, but I'll come back around. So yesterday I got up, I had nothing I had to do. Like, not at all. I'm like, man, I'm going to sit in front of my computer and work on my marketing, and I'm going to fix all these clothes for the play. And so we took Amelia to get her passport because she's going out of the country, but we were in the really long line. It turned out we couldn't do that, so we wasted time there. Then we took her to the after-hour clinic to get her finger x-rayed, and then getting the x-ray read by a radiologist took about an hour, so that took way longer than we expected. And just one thing after the other, after the other, after the other. We had a Halloween party to go to, and so I did none of what I had in mind, like zero, like zip, and I was so mad at myself. But what happened there is that, and I've heard this from many people who talk about time management, I didn't plan. I didn't say at 3:00 today I will be home because I will be watching my modules on my internet marketing course I'm taking or whatever it is. And so I'm not beating myself up. I guess I knew I had today. And so honestly today, got up, exercised, took a bath, went shopping, fixed all my lunches for the week, and came in here and did what I wanted to do yesterday. And while I was watching the stuff, I was fixing the clothes. I mean, I got it done. I didn't get every bit of it done, but the point is, I did know in my brain, I want to get this done by this time today. And I knew y'all were coming, and so, so you and Dean can't just say, oh, we're going to do it. You have to say, okay, what is your schedule? What is my schedule? We're going to sit down at 4:00 on Thursday, and we're going to work for 2 hours. And by the end of this week, we need to have the rough draft drawn out for whatever. I'm just telling you, if you don't organize it.
As I've expressed, I'm a big fan of comic books. I try to know a lot about that world. I don't know all about it, but I try to keep up to date. And comic books, the way that the issues sort of come out and work is you have a deadline. So the illustrator and the writer are given a deadline to turn in the finished product to go to printing.
Right.
So, and they have a month. And the way that sort of works is like the illustrator and the writer, they don't, it would be good, yes, to, of course, like Donna said, to like say, okay, at 2:00 we're going to sit down and do this. But if you can get it written, if you can get the scripts written and break it out into the issues you want and then send those scripts to Dean and be like, hey, Dean, by the end of the month, I just need this drawn. I don't care when you work on it, as long as at the end of the month you hand me the finished product.
But see, if Dean doesn't, in his schedule, put time aside to do it, it's just so easy to go, oh, I'll get to it. That's just all I'm saying.
No, you're right. You're right. I'm just...
But I do have another question. How many pages generally would be in an issue? Is there like a set number? Or
around 20, yeah. Around 20 is probably like the average.
And so you decide like how to break the story into the panels and how to make it stretch over the 20 pages or whatever.
You can have full page splashes.
Right,
That's the trick.
Pacing in a comic book is actually something, because I've worked on like this book before, this comic book I had an idea for. I never got illustrated because I wanted my friend Andre to do it, but it just didn't go anywhere. But like a problem I ran into was like I was breaking it down because I wrote like one book. I got full scripts for one comic book, and the problem I had was like, okay, so how do I break this down? Like how do I make this one issue and this issue and this issue? Because you don't want one issue to not have anything happen. You don't want a filler issue, as it's called, because that sucks. So you want something happening in every single issue. It's pacing. And pacing for a comic book is very weird, because if you're making a movie, well, someone's going to sit down for 2 hours and watch the whole movie, and pacing's important, yes, but by the end of the movie, they're going to have everything.
The whole arc.
You got the whole arc. When you're doing a comic book, it's like...
Chunk,
you got to make sure every issue matters. So you're splitting up the story into that this issue does this happen and this happened and this happened. Pacing.
Just like a mini-com.
And that's kind of one of the things I'm worried about. Like, what if I know where I want to go, and I know that's a good story, and I've talked to people from all over the country, and I've like introduced this idea to them. But like, I guess like. The problem with a comic book is it's not like a novel. You don't like you were saying, you don't sell the whole story at once. Mm-hmm. So
the word I was trying to get out of my head was climax, like a mini climax. You got to build up to something happening in every episode.
Every single comic book has to have like
a big turning point or a build up.
Yeah, it has to have an arc. Has to have like the
rising
plot structure. The plot structure. But then also, when you have all of the comic books laid out, they have to have an even bigger
Yes, the
overarching.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Right.
And so, I'm not saying I know how to do that. I'm just saying that it's probably very different from writing a play. I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, I do think, though, and David and I want our business to be where we help people. I feel like if you brought your ideas to us for like the Pelican series, that we could sit down with you and say, okay, if you have all these things happening, let's look at where we could get each episode. That's the kind of stuff we want to do with our business.
Okay, sure.
Is help
That's a
people.
great idea.
Yeah.
And I mentioned to Seth, I don't know if I mentioned to you, when we talked to our Fake Rate episode to Ashley, she was talking about how there are all these people on the internet now who will create all kind of amazing stuff, especially out of paper. You know, she had posters and bookmarks, and I mean, it was just very quality stuff. And you can find people all over the world who are willing to do that stuff for you. I mean,
who's Ashley?
The one that isn't that Stacey's wife now?
Her name's Megan.
Oh, is it Megan? Okay. Sorry, Ashley. Sorry, Megan.
I just thought I was like,
Yeah.
who's Ashley?
Yeah. So, well, we should go back and fix that. My mind went to Ashley for some reason. I don't know why, but it's Megan.
It's okay.
Or Megan. I don't remember how she said it.
It was like Megan.
Megan. All right.
Megan. More than
Yeah.
Megan.
So
Megan.
anyway, sorry.
No, it's okay.
I was searching for the name and the wrong name came out of my brain.
I totally
But
get it.
anyway,
It took me forever to learn Seth's name. I was telling you last week that
Oh, yeah,
I thought
you were
Seth's
Luke.
name was Luke
Yeah.
for the longest
You were
time.
Luke.
Well,
he
because
played
that's the
the
character.
The
I
character.
played.
Exactly.
Right.
So even as like we're friends, I'm like, oh, that's Luke, and then Taylor had to be like, it's Seth.
Yeah.
You know, I picked
Seth.
the name Luke
Really?
for the character.
Why? Any reason?
I'm a
That
Star
was
Wars fan.
and yeah, I was about to say in high school on the day of the test. Are you going to carry that over? Is that going to be his name? Like, what's the Patriotic Pelican's real name?
Philip Patterson.
Philip Patterson. So Luke is just screw Luke, I guess.
Right.
PP.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
Like Peter Parker.
Well, but we always refer to
So,
Patriotic Pelican.
Patriotic
as PP.
Pelican.
Oh.
Philip Patterson.
Okay, well, like always, my mind went to Spider-Man. So.
Right. Of
Well,
course.
Patriotic. I'm just saying.
Patrick.
Pat.
And I've toyed around with a bunch of different names.
Seth Bowden. Nothing's more patriotic.
Well, what's the last name that sounds like Pelican?
Pelican.
Pelner.
Pelner.
I didn't want it to be too close either.
Yeah, Patrick Pelner. Patriotic Pelican.
Pelner.
I don't even know if Pelner's a name. You can make
Could be.
anything a name, though. But anyway, I really do feel silly about saying the wrong name there, but whatever. I have so many names in my head.
Yeah,
after
you're a
teaching for
teacher,
31
yeah.
years.
There's
Names
all
are my
there.
weakness. But anyway, I feel like if you can get it drawn out, like getting a published version that we could actually sell, and that was something we could do also. Like when
That's
we
the
set up all
trick.
of our marketing online, we can get people to be interested in it from our website or our business.
Yeah.
You know, help you stay creative,
Helping you stay creative. I have always, my biggest dream in the world is to write for Marvel Comics one day. And I've been to so many panels at so many different conventions of like, how do you become a comic book writer? And what everybody says what you do is you just got to email. If you have a character idea, first of all, write things for smaller companies. Have like a portfolio of just things written. If you want to become a comic book writer, just like, and you have an idea, you got to spam and be like, this is my work. Will you publish it? Will you publish it? This is my work. Will you publish it? You got to make connections. You got to go to the conventions. You got to talk to people, shake hands, and be like, hello, yes, well, actually, I have this idea for a character called the Patriotic Pelican. So what if the Patriotic Pelican was published under Marvel Comics?
That would be crazy.
But would you be willing to give up your patriotic universe to make it a part of the Marvel universe?
That's the thing. That's the thing. It's not necessarily a patriotic universe. That's just his mantra.
I know. I'm just, you know what I mean.
It is a thing to think about, honestly, because it is the thing I like about it is it's my universe and it's not Marvel's universe. But which I mean comes with its own challenges because that means it's going to have a whole lot less popularity, I guess. Clout.
Well,
But indie comics are a big deal. In fact, right now in the market share, indie comics take up 40% of the market share, and the other, and then Marvel.
The dream for it is I'd like it to start as a comic because I feel like it's something I can always have. I'd like it to eventually be on the screen in some sort of shape or fashion, because Have y'all seen Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse?
Yes, I have.
If I could make a movie with the Patriotic Pelican in that style...
And that style of animation? Which actually I think Sony patented
Really?
that style. Yeah, I think Sony patented that style.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be exactly like that.
Something like it.
But,
right.
like...
I'm not sure if the patent went through, by the way. I know they attempted to.
In that realm, that would be...
Have you seen Into the Spider-Verse? It's on Netflix.
I've heard about it.
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
I love that movie. My favorite Spider-Man movie, probably.
What is the style that you're talking about?
So...
It's animation, but it's like... It's this very unique style of animation that's never been done before, where it almost looks like a moving comic book. Like, the way that they animate it to where it's like... It looks like a comic book page, but it's moving. I don't really know how to explain it.
It's crazy. You have to honestly have to watch it. The colors pop. It's beautiful.
It's a moving comic book. It's the perfect comic book movie. I loved it.
I
cried.
An Academy Award.
It did win it for Best Animated Picture.
Yeah.
You're right. So you could win Best Animated Picture one day. Wait. We're talking animated. What about live action? Who's going to play the Patriotic Pelican in a live action movie?
Well, live action would be a completely different route. See, I don't know.
Come on, Dreamcasting. You haven't thought about who would play him?
Dreamcasting, huh?
Well, other than Seth Bowden, I mean, who is there? I mean,
Nevaeh.
yeah. Well, there you go.
I mean, if
Christian Bale.
No, not for Pelican.
Okay.
Honestly, if Christopher Reeves was still alive, I'd see him.
Of course.
That's who you modeled it after.
Right.
Oh, Brandon Routh. You know Brandon Routh? Superman Returns?
Yeah.
That's my favorite Superman.
I wouldn't mind him.
Yeah, he's playing Superman again in Crisis on Infinite Earths on the Arrowverse on
really?
TV. Yeah, playing the Kingdom Come version of Superman, which is amazing. I don't know if you know about Kingdom Come. It's a very dark Superman. Looks amazing. So yeah, now my personal dream casting for Patriotic Pelican is Brandon Routh. Brandon, if you're listening, and I know you are, please let's make this happen.
Because he's really just Patriotic Pelican, guys, is really just this
Superman archetype.
Right, exactly. He's just this great. He's the vision of a superhero.
Truth, justice, and the American way.
The defender of freedom,
yes.
Deliverer of justice,
destroyer of evil.
Right.
That's right.
No, have to say that.
Right now, with getting your stuff on screen, what a lot of people don't realize is a ton of the movies you see were comic books at one point.
That's right.
Not Marvel DC comic books, just indie comic books. Like, for example, The Walking Dead.
Right, that's what I was about to say.
The Walking Dead, but also, just more recently, there's a movie coming out starring Vin Diesel called Bloodshot. And Bloodshot is, people probably don't even realize this, and they probably won't. Bloodshot is a comic book character from an indie comic book publisher called Valiant. Mm-hmm. There's all sorts of...
Sin City.
Sin City was a comic book, that's right. Watchmen, everyone knows like Watchmen is a graphic novel, but like a lot of movies that come out that you don't even realize. They're just like, oh, that's just a cool action movie. It's probably, there's a really good chance it was a comic book. Or manga or something
Which is why I think it's a really good segue to get into that realm.
Right.
If it did so develop, which I'm really going to try to work on it.
My point was just, it doesn't have to be a Marvel comic book to get made into a movie.
Right.
Movie studios are always looking for properties that already exist, because then they have to do less work and just pick it up.
And the other thing, there are so many venues now. I mean, Amazon makes movies, Netflix makes movies. You know what I'm saying?
If it was a Netflix original, I wouldn't even be upset, honestly.
Yeah. There are so many people out there trying to put content in front of people, and there are plenty of people watching all of it. So if you look at the most obscure actor and you go to their IMDb, they've got all kind of credits because there's just so much acting going on out there all over the place. I mean, it's
a constantly thrown. Is there a question? Is there too much entertainment? Because it is completely impossible to keep up with it all. I love comic book and superheroes. Love them. It is my biggest passion in the world. I used to watch Arrow and The Flash, that whole universe over there that DC's doing. I can't anymore because there's too many shows. I didn't even see some of the Avengers movies because they would come out. I'm like, I can't.
I have something to say about that.
This is too much. Like, there's too much happening. I didn't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I stopped watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the Marvel show that was coming out. I didn't watch all of the Netflix Marvel shows. I love Marvel. It's my biggest passion in the world, and I have not seen all of it because there's just so much. Cloak and Dagger, Runaways, there's so much.
okay.
I think with this new entertainment industry, there's a whole lot more quantity, but a whole lot less quality.
Mm-hmm.
Which
so
is
that brings
really
us to our Martin Scorsese comment from last week.
Yes.
Because, and it's really unfortunate because you don't see movies like, what's a good classic?
Raging Bull, or any of the other Martin Scorsese ones we were talking about.
It's a classic superhero movie or just a classic movie?
Just a classic movie.
Pulp Fiction.
You don't see, there's no more Pulp Fictions out there, you know?
Quentin Tarantino's still trucking, but ain't no Pulp Fiction. Hateful Eight isn't a Pulp Fiction.
I guess nostalgia comes with that. But,
no, shut up. There's no Pulp Fiction's good by itself.
No, I meant like appreciating the greats, you know, like.
Right.
But
Godfather.
I feel like the standard has dropped, you know, in the as far as some of the filmmaking that I've seen today, and we're like I love Terminator. Don't get me wrong.
Oh my God.
But what Terminator or Fast and Furious? What are we on? Fast and Furious 9. We don't have any 10.
I think we're on 10. I think 9 already came out.
I think so.
This new one that's gonna have Cardi B in it is
Yeah.
gonna is the 10th one.
I heard that on the radio the other day.
There's nothing original anymore. It's just remakes.
But they make money, and that's the driving force.
I guess that is.
Yeah, I was talking with somebody the other day about movies, and something I've always said is, you know, movie studios only care about making money. Well, what they need to learn is if they make good movies, they'll make money. But that's not necessarily true, because what happens a lot is these movies that aren't really related to anything, they're standalone movies that are really, really good, they don't make a lot of money. But that's slap the Fast and Furious label on there, and that's going to be big.
It's a franchising thing.
Yeah, franchise. Terminator, they've made so many Terminator movies. There are 2 good Terminator movies, and the rest are just... There's Terminator, amazing. Terminator 2, best action movie of all time. Terminator 3, Terminator Salvation, Terminator Genesis.
The newest one where they bring back
Dark Fate. Yeah,
that looks like it could be good.
It could be, because now James Cameron's on board. But what's funny is that it's so funny to me that they've tried making Terminator 3 like 4 times.
Like he's finally going to make Terminator 3.
This is him saying
this is the real Terminator 3.
This is him saying that none of those movies happened. Nope, they didn't happen. This is the one, and it's probably not going to be very good, to be honest. But I'll go see. I want to go see it. I haven't seen it. I don't have high expectations. I mean, old Arnold looks amazing. That's a cool look.
He does,
and he looked great in Mortal Kombat, new Mortal Kombat game. That might make me actually buy the Mortal Kombat game because I get to play as old Arnie. That's super cool, and it looks cool. But I mean, I've lost hope and faith.
What do y'all think of all those streaming services? Like, it used to
That's what I was getting at with my question.
Netflix, now there's Disney, now there's it's like you don't know what direction.
I can give a little bit of different insight. So I'm going to actually relate this to M&Ms, if you can believe that.
Okay.
So when I was growing up, my dad would let us go to the store, and of course it made my mother extremely angry, but he would let us buy candy every day. And we would go behind the little counter in the store, and we would get either M&Ms or Snickers or Kit Kat, or, you know, there might have been, 20 different candies, but there was M&Ms and peanut M&Ms, and that was it. So now when you go to M&Ms, there's like a whole shelf where you can get caramel, you can get almond, you can get peanut butter, they're making all these
Halloween themed.
You can get mini ones, you can get all one color, you can get them with your name on them.
Yeah.
I mean, just M&Ms. And so every single thing has expanded to where you have so many choices in every single thing you do. And there are people who relate that to a lot of the stress that we feel, because it's like, I want some ketchup. I don't care what brand of ketchup it is.
Exactly.
I just want some ketchup. And you have 18 choices. So when it comes to entertainment, I grew up with the TV that you had to get up and turn on, and there were 3 channels, and UHF if you were lucky. And so through my lifetime, I've watched it expand and expand. And I even taught a course when I was at Lee about media, and telling people, one day you're going to be able to turn the TV on and tell it what to play. And they're like, oh, we have that now. I'm like, no, you don't. I'm talking about you get to go through and choose what you want to watch. And that was 15 years ago, maybe almost 20 years ago that I taught that class. So I've watched it all come in.
Right.
And so the overwhelm is real. But at the same time, if you want to make a living as an actor, as a director, as a whatever, you have more options.
That's true.
So there's an up and a down, and some of it is quality. I mean, Stranger Things would not ever be if we didn't have
there are still
Netflix
amazing
making
movies
That's
coming
true.
out. There's still
so
amazing things.
There was quality and not quality when there were fewer choices. So we just have a bigger selection to choose
I
from.
think that is a way to look at it.
So maybe what I'm getting at, what I'm hearing here, is that things really haven't changed that much.
They've expanded.
They've expanded.
Right.
They haven't really changed, and there's so much. I mean, but with the streaming services in particular, I mean, I don't have cable. I know I don't have cable. I know plenty of people who just don't get cable because why?
Cut the cord.
When you can get Amazon Prime and Netflix and Disney Plus, which, by the way, I feel personally that if it wasn't for Stranger Things, Disney Plus would absolutely destroy Netflix at this point, because Disney Plus is going to be
I haven't
huge.
I've been locked up, and apparently Disney Plus is this really big thing now, and because
It's like $5 a month.
What happened is they took I guess they took all the Marvel movies off of Netflix.
They canceled all the Marvel shows.
And then so Disney is just like has pretty much the entertainment industry
Yeah, it's
locked
kind of a
down.
problem.
They have Star Wars, they have Marvel,
They bought Fox.
They bought Fox.
You didn't know that.
I've been away.
You didn't. I think
That's a long time
they
ago. wasn't it?
purchased. I mean, yeah, it went through. They purchased Fox.
You know what? I do remember that.
They
I
own
do
Fox,
remember
and
that.
that's what they have all the X-Men and the Fantastic Four back. And that's what everyone's focusing on.
remember that.
What they don't realize is that, you know who else has Fox? Well, I mean, you know what else Fox had? Predator and Alien and Terminator and the entire film industry. They had tons of franchises, and now Disney has all of it. They have all people thought that it wasn't going to go through because of trust laws and the federal government stopping monopolies from happening, and eventually people are like, oh, they can buy Sony because they're having trouble with the Spider-Man deal, so they're like, oh, I'm just going to buy Sony. They could. Disney has all the money. They could buy Sony, but if that happens, I could see the deal not going through because of laws being like, you can't have that much.
Can't have it all.
stuff. You can't have it all. But that's insane. Like Disney Plus has all this stuff that they can put on Disney Plus. It's gonna be insane.
And it's crazy because when I think Disney, I think I still think
Little
like Mickey
Mermaid.
Mouse.
Yeah, and animated films.
I can't see Disney owning all of these things because it just has a different connotation to it.
It
You know?
does.
Everything. That's
Taking
over
how
the world.
how is Disney going to produce a Predator movie?
But I mean, that's the thing. They're not going to put the castle in it, you know.
Right.
It's going to be produced. You know, people. This is for a long time. Disney's been doing this. Actually, when they wanted to make a film that really didn't fit their theme, their
brand.
Yeah, brand. Exactly. Thank you. They would. I think there was a company called Miramax. That's Disney, but they didn't want to put Disney's Magic Castle on it. So, this is a Miramax movie.
I
That's
guess
Disney.
Pirates of the Caribbean is a pretty good example of what Disney can do without it being all.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. That's all. That's
I
all
guess,
Disney
yeah.
too.
I don't even really think about that
Yeah.
as Disney, and it's technically.
Yeah, you know what I've seen? Deadpool, right? Deadpool's a big deal. You know about Deadpool, right?
Yeah, of course.
Everybody knows about Deadpool,
Of
those
course.
Deadpool movies, and they're rated R. They were made by Fox. Now Disney owns the Deadpool rights to the movies. Deadpool's a Marvel character. Fox had it before. There's a whole mess with who owned the rights to what characters. But now Disney has it all. And a big debate is like, what are we going to do with Deadpool? Because those movies make bank. They make tons of money. In
They've
fact,
only done two, right?
they've done two, yes. But they were the two highest grossing R-rated films of all time before Joker. Now, Joker...
I saw Joker yesterday.
Oh, I love Joker. But I don't know if you know, Joker is now the highest grossing movie, rated R movie of all time.
Really?
It was Deadpool and Deadpool 2. They had made the most money of R-rated movies. Because R-rated movies, they really didn't make a whole lot of money. They don't. It's a fear. That's why so many movies, make it PG-13, and there's often this, make it rated R, but movies are like, no, we gotta make it PG-13, because they'll just make more money, because parents are more likely to bring their kids. But those are the two highest rated. And a big debate at Disney, something they're talking about, and they've met with Ryan Reynolds, who plays Deadpool, is how are we going to do Deadpool? Because we're at Disney. How are we going to do Deadpool movies?
Well, I mean, can't they do Miramax or some other?
Exactly.
Sort of,
You know, I have the solution for you right here. Just make them and rate them R, and who cares? Whatever.
I mean, once you own the whole industry, who cares if you...
Yeah, are you gonna run out of money, Disney? Are you afraid of not making enough money? Shut up. Just make them, and I have the solution. Make his movies rated R, and then when he shows up in Avengers,
Just don't have him.
He doesn't curse. Boom. Or it'd be hilarious if you bleep him. Let him come in Avengers and be like, "What the bleep is this?" And like,
or like he's about to curse and he gets hit by a truck or something.
Yeah,
right.
and then he looks at the camera because he breaks the fourth wall and goes like, "Wow, I forgot I'm in a Disney movie now. Can't take off the mouse." And that'd be hilarious.
It would be hilarious,
and that would make so much money. Why? Sometimes I make this joke like companies are afraid of making money. Sometimes whenever there's these like obvious things, it's like make a Deadpool movie. Why aren't you making a Deadpool movie? Are you afraid of making money? Make a Deadpool movie. I mean, that's the thing with Fox for a long time. Those Deadpool movies, they were not getting made for a long time until somebody finger quoting, accidentally leaked test footage of Deadpool, and then everybody loved it, and it finally woke Fox up to realize, oh, people really want this movie. Yeah! I mean, like, no crap. Like, yeah, people want this movie. Why are you afraid of making money? Make the movie and let us give you money. We want to give you our money. So just give us what we want, and we'll give you money. Ugh.
Okay, so I can back up from that
Please.
and say a few things. So I will say the whole give us what we want and we'll give you money reminds me of our business again, because we talk about that on the podcast some, but the internet marketing field is as wide open as anything y'all have been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And so David and I have listened to one of our mentors online, and I just listened to something else saying the same thing. It's all about finding the small markets and hitting them with content that they want. So I feel like that also is happening. Like, for example, my mind just totally went blank. The series that we were talking about on Netflix, I just lost the name.
Stranger Things.
Yes. Who produced that?
Stranger Things?
Yeah.
It's a Netflix original series.
So, I mean, it was made by Netflix, but it was written by these people who have never written or done anything else.
Yeah, the Duffer Brothers.
But they've never, or have they?
I'm not. I'm sure they have, but I'm not sure what it is. But the Duffer Brothers
Okay.
is who wrote it and made it, and they made the idea, and then they went to different studios and be like, "Hey, will you make our movie or make our show?" No. Then they went to Netflix, and Netflix was like, "Yeah, we'll make it." And
so there are still those venues, like more and more venues, and like something that you think might not appeal to a bunch of people. If it appeals to enough for you to like make your living, you know, Stranger Things blew up way more than I think anybody expected. But there are other people out there with ideas, and they're not going to all go to get a movie made at Disney. So there needs to be all this other niche marketing, because there are people who want that content.
Yeah, and it does blow up.
Which is kind of the fear of Disney buying everything, because now you're right. It's like they don't get to. There isn't Fox. People don't get to go to Fox and say make this movie. Now it's all Disney, and what if Disney has the problem of it's rated R? I don't know. You know, when Fox at one point would have. You know, I've always wanted. I'm just saying you make a great point, and I have always been one like, please give us the X-Men and the Fantastic Four back with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because I don't know if everyone's aware, but like the X-Men movies have not been tied in because X-Men was owned by Fox, and they made those movies and they're not tied into Marvel movies. And I've always wanted them back. But now that it's there, I'm kind of like, man, I really like Logan. And we are never going to get a movie like Logan from Disney. We are never going to get Wolverine cursing and stabbing people and cutting their heads off. We're never going to get that again from Disney. But we got it because it was with Fox.
I'm not sure, David. I feel like Disney understands entertainment. And if that needs to be through Miramax or even some other subsidiary or whatever, they're going to do what it takes to keep it alive. Because, I mean, look what they've done with Star Wars. Not everybody likes every Star Wars movie, but they've taken the stories, and I don't feel like they've Disneyed them up. Do you?
No.
I think you're right.
I think what happened with Star Wars wasn't the problems that developed wasn't Disney's
You
fault.
obviously have a huge reaction. So, what do you dislike about what they have done?
I'm guessing you don't like The Last Jedi.
It
ruined the character of Luke Skywalker.
Alright. So, my thing, as somebody that writes, you know, it's like there's so much they could have done, and knowing all the Star Wars lore, and then they're like, instead of doing that, let's take the worst possible route. And then that's what they did. And in doing so, they ruined the characters. Which makes a lot of diehard Star Wars fans upset.
My biggest problem with Disney Star Wars, the only problem I have really, is them ruining Luke Skywalker. nothing that Luke Skywalker does in The Last Jedi is in character of Luke Skywalker.
Right, exactly. And it's like, if you're going to play to nostalgia, which was pretty much their idea, play to it right, you know? Don't ruin the character.
What other characters did they ruin?
I think it's weird what they did with Princess Leia. There was this scene in The Last Jedi, they're like floating through the space and using the Force. I think the whole plot, The Last Jedi, just the ship chasing the other ship, it was really elementary written. Like so much more they could have done.
Yeah.
There's so much they could have done, and they just would have taken the time and not, because they were cranking out movies. I don't know if you remember, really quick. And honestly, I'd rather see quality than just crank it up.
So that's a good example of quality versus quantity.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this. I come
once
home
a year
and see all the previews for
the Rise of
Skywalker. And they've waited a minute to make this movie. So I'm thinking I'm going to give it a chance, because I am a Star Wars fan. I've watched Star Wars since the moment I've come out the womb. So, like, I'm going to give it a chance, and I'm going to watch it. Plus, I heard that there's, on the Disney streaming service, I heard there was going to be a movie with Ewan McGregor again, and then that got messed over, and now there's going to be a TV show with it, so I'm curious about it.
An Obi-Wan show.
Right, an Obi-Wan.
Yes. Starring Ian McGregor, which is like, duh.
A dream.
Thank God. If they would have recasted him, I would have been done with Disney Star Wars. Ian McGregor played, it's like, also, do you know about The Mandalorian?
The what? They're making a show?
Yeah, on one of the first shows that Disney Plus is releasing. I think the day Disney Plus comes out is when The Mandalorian's coming out.
Really?
It's an 8-episode show directed by Jon Favreau.
Okay, I did hear about that.
Created by Jon Favreau. All the episodes are going to be directed by different people. You know the guy who directed Thor Ragnarok?
Right.
Taika Waititi?
Right.
He's directing an episode. Bryce Dallas Howard, daughter of Ron Howard, is directing an episode. Jon Favreau's directing an episode. He created the show. It's called The Mandalorian. And it's about a Mandalorian. I don't remember. It's either one or the other. It was either confirmed that it isn't Boba Fett, or it was confirmed that it is Boba Fett. I don't remember which one it was. I think it was that it's not Boba Fett. It's about a Mandalorian.
It's interesting because I remember
and it looks amazing.
A few years ago, these were all supposed to be standalone films.
Right, it was. But now Disney Plus is a thing.
Right. And honestly, in my opinion, I think the Star Wars story that was released, like the Han Solo movie, and then
Solo, Rogue One,
I think they were better.
Me too.
Than Star Wars,
Force Awakens and Last
Jedi.
I agree.
So it kind of makes more sense to me for them to make these into movies rather than shows. But I'm not upset with it. It just means I have to subscribe to another streaming service, I guess.
Right.
But I think there's going to be a ton of people, and I think this is probably not going to be as bad as I imagine. But when Disney Plus comes out, I can imagine Netflix's subscription base dropping pretty heavily, because at this point, like on Marvel, you're going to have, this is what I was saying with like, is there too much entertainment? If you have a choice of like, Netflix would have different stuff, but if you're like, I only have time to watch. If I'm sitting down and I'm like, okay,
you have to pick.
Yeah, right. If I'm sitting down and going, am I going to watch Netflix or Disney Plus? And I only have money to pay for one a month. I think a lot of people are going to pick Disney Plus, because even though they're different things, Disney Plus is going to have all the Marvel movies, all the Marvel shows, all the Disney movies ever made. Like, I'm pretty sure that's the idea, is like all the Disney movies, like, and tons of new stuff. The Mandalorian, I mean, that's a big deal. That's going to be in continuity Star Wars. It looks amazing. Mm-hmm. What was that? Oh, your watch?
My watch. Right, it beeps on the hour.
Obi-Wan miniseries. Tons of Marvel shows. You've been gone,
right?
So, I don't know. Do you know about the Marvel shows that are coming to Disney Plus?
I do not.
So there's going to be a Falcon Winter Soldier show.
Really?
Starring you saw Endgame, didn't you?
The actors that were
Yes. This is in continuity, which is really great, because the Marvel Netflix shows and the Hulu Plus shows they made and everything, they're kind of been written out of continuity. They've kind of been like forgotten and thrown aside.
Unfortunately, because I enjoyed them.
I loved them very much. Daredevil's my favorite thing ever. But Falcon Winter Soldier, starring Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan as Falcon and Winter Soldier. Falcon now as, spoilers for Endgame, as Captain America. That's a show that's coming. They are making a Loki show starring Tom Hiddleston.
Really?
Yes, because at the end of in Endgame when he gets the Tesseract and disappears.
Right. Okay.
This is going to be what happens to him after that. They're making a Loki show. They're making a show.
So they're
called,
really just using this to expand on their universe through TV shows.
In fact, most of this next phase is just TV shows. They're making WandaVision, which is about Wanda and the Vision.
So
and
that's crazy.
And they're making, this is my favorite one. This is animated. This one isn't going to be live action. The other ones are live action. This one's animated, but it's what I'm most excited for. Marvel What If. Here's what If is. What If was this comic book series that they used to do all the time. It was called Marvel's What If, and it would be like, Marvel, what if Iron Man became Captain America? And so what happened? What if Tony Stark got the super soldier serum? So then it's a little comic book about Tony Stark as Captain America.
That's fun.
Or what if Marvel zombies? And what if the entire Marvel universe were just zombies? What if they were zombies now? What would happen? I love it. It's one of my favorite things ever. It's going to be animated. Some of the show episodes that have been announced is like, what if Black Panther went to space and became the Star-Lord?
Huh.
What if he became Star-Lord? What if Haley Atwell's Peggy Carter became Captain Britain instead of Captain America because she became Captain Britain? And Steve Rogers is going to be in it, but he's wearing a mech suit. And it's animated, but it's being voiced by the actors from the movies, so their voices will be there. So it'll be good enough. And in the logo for What If, if you zoom in, you can see a little outline. You can see a picture of Captain America as a zombie. Which is hilarious, because one of my favorite comic books ever is Marvel Zombies, and it sucks. By the way, it's not a good comic book. It's ridiculous. It's written by Robert Kirkman, the guy who made The Walking Dead, and it's about the Marvel superheroes. They just get infected with the zombie virus, start eating people, and Peter Parker eats Aunt May and Mary Jane.
Oh my god.
But the thing is, they're still lucid as themselves. They're still themselves. So, like, Peter Parker's, like, crying. He's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, Aunt May. But I can't help it. And he's like crying while eating Aunt May. I know. And then it's insane, this comic book story. So here's what happens. Then what happens in this universe, the Silver Surfer shows up and he's like, oh my god. And this is really funny because he's like, Galactus, you have to destroy this planet. Please get rid of this god-awful planet. Because at this point, superheroes have killed every human. And it's just superheroes who are zombies left. So then, Silver Surfer shows up. They eat Silver Surfer. The Avengers get the power of the Silver Surfer. He's like a cosmic character. So now these Avengers who are zombies get the power of the Silver Surfer. And Galactus shows up and they eat Galactus. And then they become Galactus because they go from planet to planet destroying it looking for more food.
What were they on when they were writing?
I don't know. What? It's insane. They got Robert Kirkman, the guy who made Walking Dead, to come write it, and it's just this insane little comic book.
You know, that makes me really confident.
And it's gonna be an episode of Marvel What If. That's why I'm the most excited for Marvel What If, because it's strange. Like, I just love that.
It's very different. Yeah, it's
I love
fun.
the idea. You know, DC has their Elseworlds. Mm-hmm. Which is that's basically what If is, like this alternate universe where this happened. DC has their Elseworlds, and I like those, but I've always liked Marvel What If better because it was always steeped in continuity. Like in the Marvel What If comics, they would say, "Okay, so what if? So on issue 300 of Spider-Man, this happens. What if this happened instead?" They go back and like this one specific thing, they change one thing, and they're like, and they steep it in continuity. Like, if this would have happened instead, this is what the universe would be like, and I love that, and I think that's going to be great to explore in this show. I wish it was live action, but you can't always get what you want.
Right.
But if you try, sometimes you might find what you need, and what I need is Marvel What If. And then there's some other shows coming. They announced. I don't remember exactly all of them. The movies. Oh, yeah, I do. She-Hulk.
Okay.
Moon Knight.
Ooh.
Ms. Marvel. But not like Captain Marvel. Ms. Marvel, Kamala Khan, the Inhuman.
Okay.
She's a new character. That's going to be really cool. That's something that's coming. Some of the movies that they announced. They announced a Blade movie.
Blade. Oh, they're redoing Blade.
They're redoing Blade, starring Mahershala Ali. I can't pronounce his name. I'm sorry.
Oh, is it the guy that... Actually, I don't know who that is. Never mind.
Okay, so and then they're making an Eternals movie. That's one of the new ones coming out.
Eternals.
Which is I have thoughts on because You're making an Eternals movie? Okay.
That's what Dean and you talked about.
Yeah. It's like, okay. What else is Marvel doing that they got coming up? Black Widow movie. I'm sure you know about that.
I did hear about that before I left.
Yeah.
So that is
there's also going to be...
How odd.
Yeah, I know. How big?
Because they kill their... Whatever.
But it's going to take place...
Before?
After Civil War, actually, I think.
Okay.
So after the events...
So it's not going to be an
Civil
origin
War.
story?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think what they confirmed is that it takes place after Civil War.
It's going to tie into new stuff somehow.
Yeah, I think Robert Downey Jr. is going to be in it.
Oh, that'd be beautiful.
He's going to make a little cameo, I think, is the idea. That's what I believe.
Now, all right, I haven't seen the new Spider-Man movie yet because it came out the day I left.
Oh, wow.
So I think I'm going to go buy that.
Yeah. Huge conversation last week.
Yeah, you have to check that out.
I'm glad. All right, so I won't listen to that.
Dean liked it.
Okay, all right.
Oh, yeah, we spoiled it, so you can't listen to it. That's right. But I didn't like it. Dean liked it, and Dean convinced me to like it more.
So
yeah.
Watch it and then listen to the podcast.
Gotcha.
Right, and then you can make your own opinions. I had some issues with it, but I complain about Marvel, and make fun of the Eternals, but I'm still gonna watch it. I'm still gonna go see them all. I love Marvel. I love what they've done. I hope they get a little less formulaic, but I think they will because I just remembered another movie they announced coming out is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which sounds like this is gonna be some, excuse my language, bad shit, crazy stuff happening in this movie. Mm-hmm. That sounds like, okay, yeah, I don't think that's going to be very formulaic. The Multiverse of Madness, which I love the title, because it's like, it's not Doctor Strange 2. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I think that's hilarious.
I mean, somebody had an idea.
And someone had an idea, and that's what I hope they're doing with this. Someone's like, and I think Marvel's probably at that place where they can be like, it doesn't matter what the movie is. If we put Marvel logo on, it's going to make millions. So let's just do whatever we want to do, which I think
that's creative freedom right there.
That's creative freedom. Yeah, they can finally be like, you know what? Let's just do whatever we want to do. They're not making an Avengers movie. This one, they're trying new things. She-Hulk is what I'm most excited for because I love the She-Hulk.
Oh, that's going to be a movie.
No, it's going to be a TV. It's going to be a show on Disney Plus.
Gotcha.
But the shows on Disney Plus are going to be heavily tied into the movies, obviously, because you got stuff like Falcon and Winter Soldier. So yes, maybe there is a little too much entertainment, but I'm gonna watch as much of it as I can. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna be there. And when I say too much, I mean in reality, if I could watch everything, I would, because I love Marvel. I want to consume as much Marvel as possible.
Superheroes are great.
Superheroes are my favorite.
Apparently.
Yes, they are. If you didn't know, I'm a big comic book fan. Did you know that, Donna?
No.
I did know that, David.
You did know that?
I did. Yes, I did.
What's your favorite superhero, Donna? I'll keep meaning to ask you. What is your favorite superhero?
My favorite superhero.
Because you know about them, and you like them, and you have seen some of the movies, but you're obviously not like...
No, I'm not into it like y'all are.
Yeah.
The problem with asking me about anything favorite is I don't ever have a favorite anything.
Which one is your least hated?
I don't know. I mean, I just, I'm
gonna pencil you in for Spider-Man.
Well, please, go right ahead. I told the whole story about the blood, and it was a little bit of both, and I just don't make decisions like that. I'm not a favorite kind of person. Okay. I'm just too. I just like too many different
things.
Let's
say Doctor Strange. You love Benedict Cumberbatch?
I like Benedict Cumberbatch, and I do like the movie he's in. I don't particularly love...
Isn't he... there's this... I went to the movies yesterday, and I saw this movie called 1917 that's coming out, and he's going to be in that as like a British officer, and it looks pretty good.
I watch
He's an amazing actor. I've liked him in everything. Say again?
Imitation Game?
Yeah, I did see that. I thought he was really good.
He's excellent. And what
and
a great
movie. Sherlock. He's
Sherlock is my favorite thing. I rewatch Sherlock all the time.
It's just so complex.
I know.
But anyway, we do need to watch our time.
We're watching our time.
Somehow we need to make our ending statements, whatever they might be.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what ending statements are going to be.
Yeah,
I have a funny ending statement.
I'd love to hear it.
It wraps back around to the beginning.
Please.
So you were just telling the story about your socks, and you had to buy a 12-pack of long socks. That's one of the ways you got to know each other. Those are still in the prop room. And
really?
I went and got a pair when I had my nerd costume this year.
Oh,
so I have worn
I'm contributing.
Yes,
still
I have
contributing.
also worn a pair of the long socks.
Yes,
awesome.
You put them back.
That'll be my final thoughts for the evening.
I hope that in 50 years, Denham's Spring Theater is still going strong. Mm-hmm. Even though in 50, I'm assuming you're going to be dead.
Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, okay.
Nice.
Well, maybe you'll still be around and you can make sure.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'll keep an eye out for you.
Sounds good.
I don't know why I said that.
I don't either.
I'm so sorry. But,
Well, I said the wrong
hope-
name earlier, so now we
I
know.
still. Oh, fine.
Right, so we just both threw in a gaff. That was David's gaff.
I hope that people are still wearing those socks.
Yeah.
And people are still going to the prop room
And finding things that you contributed.
Finding things I contributed, yes.
All
those
right.
socks. I feel like I brought a lot of stuff.
Still
You
have
did.
the pair of socks you gave me.
Yes.
Do you ever wear them?
Some nights when I feel no.
No, never. But they're just in a drawer.
They are in my sock drawer.
Only when I'm feeling, only when I'm missing David, I
Right.
put them on.
Oh. All right. Closing thoughts, Seth.
Closing thoughts. I'm gonna stay creative.
Yes, as
Yes.
we all want to.
That's, on the way over here, just real quick, Donna.
I'm watching.
We were talking about all the things he wants to do because he has so many paths ahead of him. The world is your oyster because you've come back from basic training.
Right.
You can kind of do whatever you want. Something he said was, "I'm always going to be writing. No
Right.
matter what, I'm always going to be writing." And you're going to find ways. You're a military man, which, with no offense to our troops, but some may say the least creative possible thing you can do. And here you are, gonna be a writer.
I remember
Staying creative. Because anyone can.
Last thing I'll say. We were in some kind of brief. We were all sitting there. They're like, "You have so many opportunities." They're like, "Who wants to be a writer?" And my hand shot up, and I was the only one in there. And I was like, "That's all right. I'm all right with this."
But you've always been a writer.
Right. No, but so I'm gonna do what I can.
Yes.
Write
you.
about you. Keep a journal because that can always turn into content some kind of way.
I will keep a journal. That's a good idea.
Start
Oh
doing
yeah,
that.
great idea.
Start doing that.
Lastly, I'd like to say thank you, by the way.
Yes.
You're going to be in the military. You could be...
Ain't no problem.
I don't know if you're going to be deployed or not. I don't know. But if you are,
well,
you could be defending us from bad people with guns.
Defender of evil.
Defender of evil.
No, defender of freedom, excuse me.
Defender of freedom. Deliverer of justice.
Destroyer of evil.
Destroyer of evil.
Yes. Thank you
destroyer.
so much. I love my country. Do you love your country?
Oh my God, do I love it? That's
Do you love your country?
I'm actually wearing a
Yes,
patriotic
yes, I
hat,
do.
guys.
Yes, you are. It's American flag in a hat. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Seth, thank you so much for coming on the
no
show.
problem.
Donna, thanks so much for being here.
Oh, yes.
Thank my
being
guest.
In my home, yes.
And your home.
Yeah, being your guest in my home. Okay.
Thank you so much for coming, Seth. Thank you guys so much for listening. Any other final thoughts?
I'm good.
All right, great. This has been David.
And Donna.
And Seth.
Stay creative.